Christmas. May all your dreams come true.
The Wrestling Life.
A long December, and there's reason to believe maybe this year will be better than the last. I can't remember the last thing that you said as you were leaving, and the days go by so fast. And it's one more day up in the canyon, and it's one more night in Hollywood. If you think that I can be forgiven, I wish you would.
Hey everybody, it's the Wrestling Life. It's episode 395. It is the final episode of 2024. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Liam.
Liam, we have so much to talk about this week.
Yes, and so much we can't talk about on the first and only wrestling podcast. Happy New Year and holidays, Crab fans.
We're a couple days late with this because I stood you out the other day. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's
Life goes on.
It's really not okay, but I figure if I discuss it on the air, you won't eviscerate.
I have to be magnanimous about it.
Yes.
At
Yes.
this point.
Yeah.
Well, life goes on, doesn't it? In a month, neither of us will remember that it happened. So,
I mean, I'll just obsess about it every day till I die.
sure.
That's how that's
As is your right.
Yeah. All right. So we're not going to talk about AEW World's End, which, I mean, what a show. Congratulations to the winners.
There was victories. There were hard foughts. There was even a couple of surprises along the way.
But in the end, it was the Death Riders. Somehow standing tall at the end of the episode. Instead, we're here to preview WWE's first show on Netflix, which is coming up the first week of January here, and we'll talk about a number of Wrestle Kingdom shows.
They continue to increase.
There's so many Wrestle Kingdom shows this year. It's It's really something else. All right, we can start with WWE stuff. So we're finally getting CM Punk and Seth Rollins in the ring together in a wrestling match, and it's coming on Monday Night Raw on Netflix and not at the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. What do you think of the decision to pull the trigger on this now? And yeah, what do you think?
I think Seth may have gotten little brothered. That's what it feels like, right?
Really?
He got bumped down the pecking order. This match isn't important enough for Punk for WrestleMania. That's not going to get him a main event.
That's true.
Roman would, or Cena would, or however it ends up shaking this top of card. I guess we're still a little bit in limbo with depending on if Dwayne feels like showing up or not. But you figure some form of the night 1 and night 2 main events are Cody, Roman, and John Cena are 3 of the 4 guys in those matches, in the 2 matches, let's say. So only 1 spot left, and if Punk wrestles Seth, he's 3rd from the top. So I think that's what's happened here.
Did you see the social media stuff going around a couple of weeks ago? Chatter about what's his name, Ibu, from wrestling purists, wrestle purists. I don't know what their names are. I don't care. Fascinating, only because CM Punk talks to him, and he's leaking all this stuff about how Paul Heyman was just apoplectic that CM Punk opened Hell in a Cell, and how the political maneuvering, there hasn't been the likes seen in many years in WWE behind the scenes with this group. So that's interesting. I suppose.
I do remember a lot of conjecture going into that show whether or not the Punk Drew Cell match, or in fact the actual main event, which was the Roman Cody Mega Powers featuring a surprise appearance by Dwayne, which we didn't know about at the time, was going to go on last. I do remember that scuttlebutt at the time. Yes.
So there you go. Yeah. So
But hey, let's just hope Seth and Punk make it through and nobody gets hurt.
I
Because
mean,
both
what are
of
the
those guys
odds?
have a low batting average on not getting hurt lately.
What are the odds? Really? Yeah. Did you see Punk working a house the holiday house show loop?
I saw that he had like a sub 10-minute match with Ludwig Kaiser, right?
Yeah, something like that.
They're going around the horn.
He's got Gunther in a cage.
Ooh.
Uh, sometime this weekend here. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I wouldn't put him in any house show matches ever,
Mhm.
but what do you know? So we also have Roman Reigns versus Solo Skull in a tribal combat match on the Raw on Netflix premiere. Again, this can main event WrestleMania.
Could have. But yeah, I guess I am curious if Dwayne gets involved in this or if Dwayne has a separate segment. Because I think we're all pretty much in agreement that he's going to be at this Raw, right? The first one for Netflix. It's his deal, sort of.
Yeah, it seems logical.
So I guess that's this how this match goes, and then what Dwayne does or doesn't do on the show. I feel like is gonna let us in on what's going on. But yeah, as far as this goes, they're fighting over a necklace. And did we talk on the last show about how they're maybe going to do a belt for the tribal chief as well?
Yeah, I think we brought it up.
Yeah. So let's hope that debuts here. That would be lovely as well.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like if what if Hulk Hogan stayed around forever and just wrestled for that helmet with the fist on it?
The war bonnet
Yeah. What if he just wrestled for the war bonnet?
would be wonderful.
So maybe that would have worked.
Could have been like the TNA Legends Championship.
Yeah. He would have been the Babe Ruth of WWF.
Vince wanted a Babe Ruth so bad. He made that pitch to Hogan. He made it to Brett. He made Cena.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
kind of made it to Bruno at one point. I think. Like, man, loved the idea.
Definitely called Sean that at least one time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sean came out on a Raw and started super kicking people, and they called him the Babe Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Yep. What else we have for the Raw on Netflix premiere? We have Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. This looks to be last woman standing.
Let's hope.
Can it be the last feud standing?
That would be great. I hope. Yes, I hope whoever's going to win here just wins. And then we move on to, again, I think a lot of people think Becky Lynch is back on this show. So maybe that's the Rumble match, or maybe she just declares for the Rumble and she has a standoff with whoever the champion is. I guess when last we saw her, she lost to Rhea. So actually, no, that's not true. She came back for another month and because Rhea got hurt.
She lost to Liv.
That's right. She lost to Liv. So you could have Liv come back and or have Becky come back and challenge the winner of this, or just appear at the end of this and say that she's going into the Rumble. So, like with everything involving this Liv and Rhea storyline, I think people are more excited for what's happening after the match than the actual match.
Yeah. Becky Lynch is featured in the Raw on Netflix commercial. Little Birdie told me she's not on this show.
Hmm.
Little Birdie that has never steered me wrong before.
Interesting. Do you think there's going to at least be like is she getting the Triple H return vignette?
I think it'll be a surprise when she comes back. Still,
Okay.
I just don't think it's going to be on Monday, January 6th.
Okay, fair enough.
I think it'll be in the weeks to come or at the Royal Rumble. but I don't think it's on the first Netflix show. I just don't. I don't
I
know.
mean, I think anyone that's thinking about it, and again, it may not be up to you because I'm sure the company wants to make a big splash, Netflix wants to make a
Right.
big splash.
Right.
But if I were, say, a Becky Lynch level of a star, and I'm looking around and I'm sharing airtime on the show with Roman and Punk and Cody and Rock and Cena and all of these other, and who knows what, I'm sure Sean will be there, Brett, all the old timers are around, I would maybe be like, hey, why don't I come in 2 weeks when there isn't anything special and there isn't already a gigantic amount of power all over the show, and then maybe my return will mean a little bit more at that point.
I think you might be onto something there. I think that might be someone's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's what we know for the Raw premiere. It was Cena back as mentioned in passing. The last time is now. And what do we think? I don't know what to make of this last run, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, one more time in every city makes sense. It's cool. They're paying him a ton of money. So, because he's not doing any movies basically for the year. Yeah, what do you do? I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do with John. I
So they haven't. He was doing a lot. Last time he was a full time guy, he was doing a lot of jobs, and it didn't seem to be helping him.
Oh, absolutely not.
I think we probably at the time made the comparison to when after Hogan comes back, wins the belt and loses the belt, and he's still around on SmackDown for like 2 more months after that.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of where John's lot in life was.
I mean, they made him put over Austin Theory in wrestling.
Right. In a really half-assed way. He put over, officially, for the record books, he did put over Austin Theory. Yeah, I don't know. I guess to a less cynical, perhaps slightly younger WWE fan, is him going for a 17th world title a big deal? Can you build a Rumble and a WrestleMania season around that?
I guess. I don't know.
That-
I know it was a rhetorical question, but
yeah. Like I mean, that to me feels like a consolation if for Cody or somebody, if Dwayne works, or I guess if you have him in the Rumble, you can lay out for like another month before he says who he's wrestling. And then if Dwayne does decide he's working, then you could do Cena and Gunther or whoever has the fake world title at that point.
sure. Yeah,
Perhaps he'll choose to challenge for the Muhammad Ali wife championship that Dwayne has, since we established that is as much a world title as Cody's.
it's a very prestigious championship. We know the tribal chief or the people's championship. It's we know. Do you think he just do you think Dwayne just felt insecure not carrying a belt?
That's kind of what it felt like.
I mean, I agree. It's weird. It's so weird.
Well, there was the one like really bonkers idea where he was going to beat Roman for the belt as a babyface and then like vacate the belt the next night and then bring out this people's championship and be like, well, I'm not the world champion anymore, but I'm the people's champion. See ya. And then ride off into the sunset or whatever. So yeah, I don't
Yeah, that was one of his pitches. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in that guy's brain. He's too busy talking about the great verticals that the film Red One had on Amazon Prime this holiday season.
Sure. Yeah, well, I guess we'll figure out what shape WrestleMania is taking after this. We'll have a much better idea after the first the first Raw of the Netflix era. I'm super excited for this era to begin just so I can stop seeing the commercials trumpeting this new era coming.
I mean, I'm excited because they've been punting for a month and a half on television leading up to the show. So
I suppose there is that.
but I will say a punted 2 hour Raw is probably still as good or better than a trying 3 hour Raw. And now we're also going to have 3 hour SmackDowns to contend with. So
yeah. Yeah, we officially have 3 hour SmackDowns on Friday nights. Rampage is dead though.
Third hour of SmackDown can claim the runoff.
John Moxley killed Rampage.
In canon, that is true. He stormed the production truck and unplugged some things and smashed some things, and they're like, "That's it. We can't do it no more."
Yeah,
I assume
weird.
Claudio ate the Rampage ring apron.
I it's
They
really
can't just get a new camera and keep shooting the show.
here's something that you brought up as we segue away from the WWE Raw talk and into maybe some AEW chat here. Um, I saw you casually mention on social media, hey, Moxley's guys have tried to shoot murder like 3 people. Like
Yeah.
this is crossed the line of a wrestling storyline into they got a group of people walking around backstage.
These are domestic terrorists.
Seriously, they're trying to get guys to drink bleach. They're running over them with cars. They're pushing them down steps.
They did whatever they did to FTR.
It was the R word, right? I mean,
Yeah. See, they would not show it on camera. So the theater of the mind runs wild.
Trigger warning. It was an essay, right?
I had not necessarily considered that angle, but we can't
rule it out.
Can't rule it out. You know, they let all of their other crimes be filmed, but they chose not to let the cameraman see what they did to FTR. So you would imply something more heinous and actionable,
and probably something to do with the pecker.
I guess so.
I don't know.
Anyway, they should all be in jail.
Yeah, why are they just walking around?
Why do they get to have wrestling matches after that?
Why is it Tony Khan who's in the ear of Tony Schiavone yelling matches to him in every other segment?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he allowing this?
Why is President Christopher Daniels or whatever his title is?
Yeah.
Why isn't he doing anything about it? He tried to step to them once and got beaten up, and he's like, "All right, guess I just got to let him do murders now."
Yeah. I mean, maybe we should call in the Ring of Honor board of directors.
Get Paul White on it.
Paul White, Stokely Hathaway, and I think maybe Prince Nana.
There you go.
No, Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn.
I think Jerry Lynn was the other guy. Anyway, terrible company. Their their 5th hour rather is canceled though. So it doesn't matter. They're wildly financially successful, in spite of having wrestling TV shows that fewer and fewer people watch. They're more successful than ever, and they're going into 2025 where they will be taking part in this. It's really a New Japan show. The Wrestle Dynasty show the day after Wrestle Kingdom. And so he talked about Wrestle Kingdom a little bit and Wrestle Dynasty a little bit. 2 Tokyo Dome shows. And boy, dire. Night 1, Wrestle Kingdom. This is the strictly New Japan show, right?
Theoretically.
Right. Even there's outside talent on it. But Zack Sabre versus Shota Umino for the IWGP World Championship in the main event. Whoo boy.
They did not exactly spend the last year building Shota up as the next guy.
If he came back from his excursion or whatever 2.5 years ago, whatever it was now, and they just strapped the rocket to him right away. All right. Instead, they had him come in. They had him trade losses with with like Finley, and then he challenged for the title at like a Dominion show, or that was Suji, not Umino. Never mind. Anyway, they didn't strap the rocket to him. They had him come in at 50-50 with the mid card guys.
I think he did challenge Mox for the title once while Mox had it.
That's true.
He lost. So
yes, that's true.
And then Mox lost it back to Naito in one of the worst matches of the year. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. But
all right, yeah.
Anyway, so this is a real weak sauce main event. They did spend a lot of the year making Zach like he is officially the top foreigner, the top gaijin in the promotion now.
Yep.
And the fans clearly do accept him as a top guy, which is cool, but not a lot of cream of the crop opponents set up for him either.
Yeah. Naito, the aforementioned Naito wrestling Hiromu Takahashi. I guess Hiromu figured semi-main is as close as I'm getting to a Tokyo Dome main event, and it's coming from wrestling his friend. So I don't know. Interesting match. Again, probably a couple years too late. Hiromu should have been wrestling heavyweights 4 years ago. But
Yeah.
David Finlay Yoda for the global championship. Not a bad match, but third from the top. Yee.
Yeah. They had a really good match in the G1 this year. So maybe it means more if you're like a Japanese fan who will be attending this show. But yeah, as a third from the top match, it is. Look, David Finlay's improved. Yota Tsuji has improved. It still feels like it's a year before it should be happening this high on the card.
Sure. Doki versus El Desperado for the junior title. Hey man, we gotta try some stuff with this junior title. And Desperado has been great for years, and Doki earned his spot. So, like, I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
Shingo Takagi versus Konosuke Takeshita for the Never Championship. If Takeshita is still AEW International Champion, that title will also be on the line. So maybe Shingo holding an AEW title, maybe Takeshita holding a New Japan title, maybe nothing happens. I don't know.
Maybe it's a draw.
It seems like something they would do. Do you have a read on that, Shingo and Takeshita?
I mean, it's the never belt, and New Japan doesn't seem to care about that. So you could put it on an AEW guy and let him carry it around for a while. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, the simplest. Well, Takeshi's not defending his belt on the World's End show that's already happened, right? So
he is.
Oh, he is. Who's he
against Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yes. So
can't believe you forgot about that.
Forgot about that one. Forgot about that. It was a barn burner.
Yeah.
But yeah, so depending on what happened on that show, neither of us seem to be able to remember it, even though it was just last night. Yeah, I guess of the two, because they seem to have no problem letting Shingo get beaten all the time, even though he's still like the third or fourth best worker in the whole company.
Yeah.
Even at his slightly advanced age now.
Yeah.
But they do seem to have no problem with beating him. He's kind of the Ishii of this doldrums era of New Japan. So yeah, I could just see Takeshita winning it.
Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Evil in a lumberjack match with a not entirely well communicated stipulation that Tanahashi has to retire a year early if he loses. I assume we're getting one more year of Tanahashi around the horn, so there's no chance he loses to Evil here.
Right. Yeah. He's they would be weird to announce a retirement tour and then just go, just kidding.
I've seen Chase Owens pin Tanahashi clean in the middle of the ring. I've seen it all.
Yeah. That's true. There have been questionable decisions made regarding when and where Hiroshi Tanahashi loses before. But no, yeah, I think he's winning, and I don't think he's cutting his hair either.
All right. 4-way for the TV title: Ren Narita, Jeff Cobb, Ryohei Oiwa, and El Phantasmo. Nice to see El Phantasmo back from his cancer scare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got a great reaction when he came back. That was cool to see.
Yeah. It's a 4-way for the TV title. Whatever you want to do is fine.
Sure.
Mayu Iwatani versus Izumi for the IWGP Women's Championship. Nice that gets on the main show here. And then we have a ladder match for the junior heavyweight tag titles with the Intergalactic Jet Setters against the Ichiban Sweet Boys against Catch 22 against the War Dogs. And then on the pre-show, we had the New Japan Rambo this year with stakes. The winner becomes the number one contender to the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. What do you know about that?
I like when New Japan does changes something. They just have a wrestler just go out and say, "Hey, the thing we were doing before was stupid. Let's do something else now." So this time it's like, oh, they did the KOPW thing for the last couple of years, and then they suddenly decided, oh, actually, maybe it would be good if there were some stakes to this.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. So what do you know about that? And then the second night at the Dome is weird also. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ricochet
Mm-hmm.
might be a world title match if Sabre retains. Pretty weird to book him in a singles match on this show if he's not. Anyway, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Feels
Uh
like it should be Ricochet versus the world title winner, but
yeah. Yeah, I think that would make sense. And then Claudio wrestles the other person.
mm-hmm,
It's
mm-hmm.
Claudia is supposed to wrestle Shooter on this show.
That would make more sense to me. But hey,
Just
or
simple folks.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Takeshita or Shingo defending the Never title against Ishii, and maybe the AEW title is also on the line in this match. I don't remember if that's the stipulation or not. But yeah, hard hitting guys hitting each other hard. Yoda Tsuji against Jack Perry. Yoda Tsuji against Jack Perry. Dude, Yoda Tsuji could crush Jack Perry.
It's a football man. He gets
It's
down in his 3-point stance.
you just hit him with a hacksaw tackle and it's over. I'm like, what? Jack Perry and his mean boy fights. His mean face.
He's Little Raven, Jack Perry.
I can't stand Jack Perry. Gosh, he sucks. All right.
Oh.
Kenny Omega returning on this show against Gabe Kidd.
Mm-hmm,
Unless, of course, he already turned at World's End, in which case, boy, was it good to see the cleaner back.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The mentioned Shooter versus Claudio match, David Finlay against Brody King. Might be a title match if Finlay keeps the title. We had a lot of those kind of
Mm-hmm,
things on this show.
mm-hmm.
Great O'Khan and a mystery partner against the Young Bucks for the vacant IWGP tag titles. Mercedes Moné against Mina Shirakawa for the New Japan Strong and Ref Pro British women's titles. Interesting, because it means Mercedes is probably working some Ref Pro, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
8-man Lucha Gauntlet with 4 CML guys, 4 New Japan guys to be announced. Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara against the House of Torture on the pre-show, of course. And also on the pre-show, Will Nightingale versus Persephone versus Athena versus Momo Watanabe for the International Women's Cup, and the winner receives a Women's Championship shot of their choosing. Anything stand out to you at all from these 2 Dome shows? The return of the cleaner, the Young Bucks, the AEW guys on the second show. Anything stand out?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this in the lead up. The fact that Kenny Omega's first match in over a year is going to be not really on an AEW show or against an AEW wrestler is interesting. The Bucks coming back on this show is whatever. Like, it's fine. Yeah, I guess whoever wins the women's 4-way and then whoever and then assuming Mercedes is winning, I think that's a safe bet. What that means for her 2025. So I guess there's little bits of intrigue, but yeah, like you said, a lot of that second show is just going, well, this might end up being a title match if the person still has the belt. So it's a lot of that. Like I think it'll be probably a fun show to watch. Although you never really know how, in my opinion, like how Japanese crowds are going to react to foreign talent they don't know very well. I mean, obviously they know the Bucks and Kenny and some of those guys, and like Claudio has been on New Japan shows before, but it's not the, Ricochet was a junior heavyweight tag guy the last time he was in Japan.
Yeah.
So it's like, are people going to be excited about him and Zach wrestling, a semi main or a main event match? I don't know, maybe. But yeah, so it feels like it'll be a probably a good show in the ring, if an underwhelming show when it comes to star power, like with some of the Forbidden Door shows in this country. I think like it's a fun idea on paper, but one, we already get a ton of New Japan and AEW crossover on any given week, and then two, when it gets time to actually book these things, it turns out neither company really wants their top guys losing a lot.
Yeah.
So you end up having to book top guys against like upper mid card guys who can take losses from the top guys in the other company.
Yeah. It's these shows are still kind of political minefields.
Mhm.
It's, all right. Well, that's have that to look forward to. And yeah, the number of Wrestle Kingdom shows will continue. Wrestle Kingdom shows are on the weekend this year, so that's something.
It's about what, 3 days, right? Fourth, fifth, and then Raw on the 6th.
Well, you can go back to Friday the 3rd for the first 3 hour SmackDown.
Oh
And
yeah,
really stretch it out. And
Saturday
you
evening Rampage.
you mean Collision?
Or Collision, yeah. Sorry, R.I.P. Rampage.
Yeah,
I forgot Claudio ate the ring apron. We can't do Rampage anymore.
that's right.
So yeah, and then yeah, Collision, and late Saturday night, early Sunday, you get Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty the next day, and then boom, right into a new era. And if you forget that it's a new era, we will be reminded by everyone saying it in their promos for the next month or two.
Looking forward to it. All right, everybody. Till next time we do our 2024 year in review show. I'm Ethan.
And I'm Liam.
We'll be back soon with more stories from the wrestling life.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Now, here are this week's bonus features.
Why did Corbin Burns sign with the Diamondbacks? Unserious.
Does he live in Arizona? I was like, is
I believe he does.
Is this a Nakamura wants to surf?
I think it is, but like, whatever, man. Like, they're.
Like
I don't know.
The
I don't.
Dodgers, I'd get,
I get. The Giants were the team that like everybody was like, well, they have the money and they could sign him. They have the space and the need and the money. But I guess Arizona. I don't know, man. Why would you sign there after they signed Jordan Montgomery and then publicly said he was the biggest disappointment of all time right before he picked up his $25 million player option?
One of the best sequences of events ever is him doing that. Just hearing that and be like, you know what? I'm going to make you pay me $25 million.
Yeah.
The spiteful player option pickup is maybe my favorite move.
Yeah. Burnsy can opt out after 2 years. I don't know. I think it's the projections are pretty kind. I don't know. Lad McConkey.
He's a real guy.
He's a white wide receiver.
Of course he is. White men are always being named Lad McConkey.
Lad McConkey. McConkey.
Plays for the Chargers. Oh, interesting.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year!
I try to keep on keeping on.